So now we're going to talk about information gathering. Information gathering is one of the most important steps in penetration testing. For example, say if you're trying to gain access to a computer that exists on a certain network. First of all, you want to be able to gather as much information as possible about that network so that you can connect to it, whether it uses encryption, how far the network is, what kind of security is being used on that network, the IP address, the MAC address, all that kind of stuff about the network. Once you can actually connect to the network, you'd want to be able to gather information about the devices that exist on this network. Once you gather information about these devices, you want to see which one of them is your target. Once you locate your target, you want to be able to know what IP address it is, what operating system it runs. Does it run Windows? Does it run Linux? Is it a phone? If it's a Windows, what version of Windows? If you get the version, you want to see, once you know the version, you might be able to look for buffer overflow exploits and then gain full access to that laptop. That's just an example. So information gathering is very important. The more information that you gather, the more likely that you will be able to gain access to your target and achieve your goal. So today, or in this lecture, we're going to talk about network discovery, or what's known as Wardriving. Now basically Wardriving is where you have your device and you'd be walking or driving around the area that you think that your target is in or the network is in and gather information about these networks. So we're going to use an app called Wi-Fi Analyzer, which gives us information about all the Wi-Fi networks that are around us. So it gives us information about the network name, gives us information about the MAC address, the channel, the encryption, the speed, the signal strength, and it even shows us the devices that each network, or the devices that are connected to our current network. We'll talk about that in the next class. So I'm just going to go to my Kali Linux device. It's right here. And you can download this app from the App Store. So as you can see here, I have it right here. Wi-Fi Analyzer. So I'm just going to tap it. And as you can see straight away, it's showing me the networks that are around me. And we can see that there are 4 networks. And TY2 has the strongest signal. That's because this is the one that I'm actually connected to right now. And then you can see the rest is fluctuating because there actually none of them is my network. The other one in blue, it's not very well visible. This is one of my networks as well. That's why it's a bit strong. So this curve basically shows you the signal strength of all the networks around you. So I'm going to tap on the view here on top, and I'm going to go to the time graph. This will basically show you the signal strength across time, and as you can see, it's moving. So you can see which networks are consistent and which networks aren't. On top, you can filter networks by clicking on the network name on top. So for example, if I click on Horizon right there, it's going to highlight it for me. So if you click on UPC 41119, you can see it's highlighted there for me, so you can have a better look at it. So I'm going to look for my network, which is TY2, and I'm highlighting it right there. And you can see it is the one with the strongest signal and the most consistent of all of them. Now, the other view that we have is the channel rating. And it'll basically show you which channels are being used most. Now, this is actually really handy because if you go back, I'm just going to go back to the channel graph right here. You can see that my network is, both of my networks actually, TY2 and the UPC62, are both running on the same channel, but they are not using any of the channels that's used by other networks. By doing this, I can actually avoid overlapping and I'll have stronger signal in my house for my networks. Now, I have them both running on the same channel because TY2 is just an experimental or a temporary network that I only use when I'm making videos. So usually I don't use both, I'd use one or the other. So that's why I have them on the same channel. But it's a good tip for you if there is a lot of networks running on the same channel around your area, then it's a good idea to change the channel of your network to another channel. So I'm gonna go now to the AP list, and this will basically give you a really comprehensive and good look of all the networks. So it'll show you the MAC address here on top, as you can see. So that's the physical address of each network. This doesn't change and it always stays the same. It also shows you the channel, it shows you the speed, and it shows you the encryption or the security use. So you can see this network, my network, uses WPA, PSK. If you go down, you'll see actually all of them are using WPA at the moment. You can also see your current address because I'm actually connected to this network, so you can see my current IP address here. And the last one, which is one of the really nice features that I like about this app, is the signal meter. Now, this is really handy because it shows you how strong is the signal of the network that you pick. So from here, if you tap on this, you can pick any networks from the networks around. So I'm gonna pick TY2, for example, and we can see that the signal is full, so it's perfect. Now, if you start moving around, the signal is going to change. So it's really good, say, if you're in a place and then you're trying to see what is the spot that has the best coverage or the strongest signal in that place, then you can basically just pick the network that you want and start walking around or moving around until you find the area with the strongest signal. Now, this comes in really handy when you're trying to break into keys, whether it's WPA or WEP keys. You usually want a spot with a really good signal. Even if you're using your laptop in order to do that, it's really handy to use your phone or your tablet and start moving around to find the place with the strongest signal, and then put your laptop there or put your Wi-Fi card there and start trying breaking into that network. We will talk about break-in keys, whether it's WEP or WPA or WPA2 in stronger or in the future lectures. But I just would like to point that this will come in really handy when you're trying to do this. And you'll see it in the future when you actually try to do some tests. It's really difficult to get, or it's really important to get a place with a good signal. And this will help you to do that. And it's going to be really useful.